Happy Friday!
Woohoo! Good job making it through the week, business people. You did it. I'm Casey. This is Kara.
Hello.
If you haven't watched our Fri YAY videos before, I noticed we've had a few new followers here recently.
Ooh.
Every Friday, I know, ooh is fun. It's fun and exciting, right? Every Friday we share a little video, a little insight into the marketing and branding world. We are going to share with you some information about social media. I know, on social media.
New segment.
How ironic is that? Sharing about social media strategy. We're going to start this new segment, like Kara said. It's all about social media. For the next several weeks, we will be talking all things social media marketing. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Now, when we talk about social media and marketing, we hear it all the time. Like, oh, I've tried that, it didn't work. Or I've hired so-and-so to do this person to do this, and it didn't get me any leads. It didn't get me, what I was looking for.
Right.
And it's understandable. So what's the one common denominator in all of those conversations along the way of where people are disappointed or feel like they got nothing out of their efforts? Do you know?
Maybe that they haven't had a strategy.
Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. It's all about having a strategy. So social media should have a strategy behind it, just like everything else you do with your business.
Right, because it goes all the way back to what we always say, consistency is key. And how do you have consistency if you don't have a strategy in place?
Exactly. And then how do you really measure your return on investment? The time, money, energy that you're putting in yourself or hiring someone else to do for you. How do you really know that you're getting the most bang for your buck possible? It's always a fun conversation when a business owner comes in and says, or I meet them for the first time. Oh yeah, well I've tried, putting my business on Facebook and it didn't work. And I'm like, well, what didn't work exactly?
Right, or what did you try and kind of
what did you do? How did you do it? Let me look at it and let me give you some tips and pointers. So that's what the next few weeks are going to be all about. But today in particular is about putting a strategy in place. It is crucial to your success.
It is.
Some people, can wing it if they have a knack for it. But the bulk of our clients are really, really skilled at their industry or niche, what they do.
Right.
This might just be extra to them, or outside of their comfort zone a little bit even.
And they might be small enough businesses that they can't afford to hire a social media expert.
Right.
To have solely as their job.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
That is where we slide right in there. So talking about a strategy, there are a few keys to starting a strategy. And when I say put a strategy in place, I don't just mean like think about it, have it in your head only. I mean document it.
Yes.
There is power in writing things down, especially when it comes to planning and goal setting, because then it helps you measure your results too.
It does. And if you're a growing company as well, it helps to make sure that if you have employees, that everyone follows the same exact thing.
Right. Yeah, you have that in place. So when you bring new people into your team, they just adjust and read and understand, and it gives them that kind of foundation to build off of. Social media strategy. One of the tools that we've put together for our clients to help them document a digital strategy is this workbook.
Yes.
Ooh. And this workbook is about 50 pages, and we go through the whole gamut of documenting every step along the way, some great worksheets and kind of idea starters. And so this is an item that we have for sale. So if you're interested, please let us know. You can also, if you're local here in the Hampton Roads area, you can attend our social media strategy workshop, our Biz Tools workshop. The next one is September 12th. And you can come and you can get the workbook. So the different stages of documenting a strategy Every marketing team is going to have a little bit different of an approach, but ours always starts with research.
Yes.
So when we start with research, I'm not talking about like going to the library and burying your nose in a book.
Yeah.
I'm talking about figuring out really what do you want to achieve with this? Like starting with the basics. What's your main objective for having a presence on social media anyway?
Yes.
What do you want to accomplish? And what kinds of feelings and emotions do you want your audience to have when they see what you're sharing on those platforms? Goes into, who are you as a brand? Who are you as a company? What are ways that you want to be perceived?
To stand out.
Right. And then researching your audience. And this is my favorite part, right?
Oh yeah. If you've been watching us for a few months now, you're going to recognize this.
Right. This is familiar. It's something we talk about in all of our workshops. We've talked about on multiple of our Fri YAY videos. And it's our favorite thing, my favorite thing to do. Well, it's all my favorite things to do. I say that all the time. But really, it's one of my favorite things to do because it's such a critical part
It's fun
of the
for
puzzle.
her.
And it's
Just
fun
use
for
her
me.
Imagination.
I make up. Okay, so confession time, right? I am. If you know me, you know I'm a little quirky, but like, I make up stories about people in my head all the time. Not like people that I know, but people that I'm driving down 21st Street here in Ghent, and I pull up next to this big giant truck with this guy in it, and in my head I'm just like.
But everyone kind of does that. You have a perception of like what you think this person is, who you think they are, what they do, how they act. You just take it to a whole nother level because
yes.
you like to do this.
Because
on
I
a
like
daily
to
basis.
do this, right? So like I like to work with customer personas or avatars. So we go through and we write little stories about our most ideal. Think like your most like dreamy McDream clients of who you want to work with or customers that you want the most. Who are those loyal brand advocates who always have your back and are sending you referrals. Think of those people.
And then we're going to hone down on the details.
Who are they? Where do they live? What do they do for a living? What's
How many pets do they have? What are their hobbies?
What is their
What
living
kind?
situation?
What house they live in?
What
There you go.
neighborhood are they in? What do they do? What are their kind
How
of
old are they?
values and challenges? Are they very thrifty? Are they very stingy?
And we have an example for you.
I do have an example. Let me read the example right now. So when I read this in the workshop, everyone's always like, ugh. So bear with me. You don't have to go this overboard, but this is my example. This is how in-depth I like to get with this.
And you'll find though, once you start practicing, it's a lot easier and a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And you'll end up having so many details if you're going, I have too many details.
Right. So my example is Sally Sue. Sally Sue is a 44-year-old accountant living in Norfolk, Virginia. She's married to Doug, who's a 42-year-old retired U.S. Navy senior chief that's now a history teacher and golf coach at Norview High School. They have 2 children. Sarah's their oldest. She's a 20-year-old college student at Virginia Tech. And Sammy Jo is their youngest, who is 11 years old and in the Young Scholars Program. Sally's worked at a large corporation for the past 12 years. She'd like to put some of her investments towards starting her own bookkeeping or accounting company. They live very active lifestyles. They have an Australian shepherd named Duke that they like to take on walks along the Elizabeth River Trail. They go paddleboarding as a family. They're all pretty much vegan, socially vegetarian. They do all their grocery shopping at Whole Foods. They really enjoy sporting events and going to events as a family. So they've got season tickets to the Admirals hockey games. They're planning a vacation for the end of this summer. They're all going to Scotland together, and they're really excited about that because of their family heritage. The biggest challenge for Sally and Doug and their whole family right now is that they are just trying to prioritize their marriage and relationship because they have such demanding schedules between work and family life. And then Sammy Jo's extracurriculars are off the charts. Like, that kid is super talented and in everything. So And making and sticking to a budget is a huge issue for them that they have to stick to because they don't want their daughter Sarah to get into the trap of student loans.
There you go.
And that's the ideal client, Sally Sue.
Yes.
So like I said, that's way over the top, right? You don't necessarily have to go to that level, but if you can, it's helpful. Why? Because it helps you hone in your messaging.
It does.
When you are going to create content on social media and you're feeling overwhelmed about what do I even say? What do I even share? This is the tool that helps you nail it down.
And how many do we always tell people to try and have?
3 or 4. Every business is probably going to have 3 or 4. Kind of different.
You could end up with more, you could end up with less. It could be very niche down, but it's a good place to be.
Yeah. Developing your content strategy is the next part of documenting a strategy. And that's actually something that we have in the workbook too, that you go through and you kind of decide what kind of content you're going to distribute and share. So we have all kinds of ideas.
Yes.
Because people like variety.
Yes. You don't want to keep posting the same exact thing, the same exact style of thing. For instance, you don't want to only post videos or pictures. You want kind of a mix.
Right.
On Instagram now, you can throw in a poll. They have boomerangs.
Right. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with that. You also, in that stage, should be thinking about frequency. So what platforms, how many times?
And that goes back to your strategy of figuring out
Who's your
when you're going to post, kind of like a schedule.
Who's your audience? How often do they want to hear from you? Do you have a huge following? Post multiple times a day. If you don't worry about it. Just do it sparingly, but do really high quality when you do. And you tailor the contents and the content ideas to those personas that you created. So walking through how does your content resonate with this particular ideal client? And then you implement that strategy. You go through and document what kind of tools are you going to use? What kind of resources are you going to need? Who's going to be responsible for the posting? Get really detailed and lay it all out so that it is
A strategy.
easy. Much easier. All of this planning, it takes some time to do. And I think
It does, but it makes life so much easier if you plan ahead. Think of it as your work week. Is it easier to plan ahead and have that on your calendar, or is it easier to just wing it and do whatever? It's always easier to plan, and creating a strategy makes it not only easy for you, but your company as a whole. It makes it easier if you have employees. It also makes it easier for the next part that we're going to talk about, which is tracking. Tracking your posts, tracking what you're doing, seeing what's working and what's not working.
Yeah, so right now, at that point, when you document that strategy, you should look back and take a real, raw, honest look at where you are today so that you can set some goals and know where you're headed or hopefully headed.
It's not, you're not carving it into concrete or stone.
No.
It's always, and as the years go by in your company, you're going to want to change your strategy, not only because of how long your company's been around, but because the times have changed. Every year, something new happens, so every few years, you're going to want to look back at it.
This is a living document. It's just like your business plan. It's just a business plan for social media marketing, and you should really update it regularly and make sure that you're adapting and changing and measuring and making sure you're on track to meet those goals. So
It makes a world of difference.
it really does. It makes a huge difference, I promise. It's a lot of work up front, but it's well worth the result in the end.
It really is.
So that is social media strategy
Yeah.
in a nutshell. Just getting started, documenting a strategy. Those are the steps.
Yeah.
And once again, shameless self-promotion. If you want to come learn this in more detail and you're local here, please join us on September 12th. Look up on our website or bizconnecthr.com and you can find the ticket registration for that. So thanks for tuning in to another fun Friday.
Yes. and be on the lookout for sales of our new workbook.
Yes, the new workbook, when it's done, will be like hardcover. It'll be beautiful, and we will be excited to
Officially sell it.
officially sell that. Yes. All right.
Bye.